Welcome in another edition of the Dirt Racing Podcast. Let's get started. Welcome to the Dirt Racing Podcast. In the news and results, well, we didn't have any results last week, so we'll talk about coming up the World Finals this weekend in Charlotte, and also I'll give you a pro and con on Donnie Schatz and Brad Sweet on their championship fight. That's coming up right now. Well, the World Finals are this start Thursday night down at Charlotte with the qualifying. The late model championship is already wrapped up, but I think there's going to be a great car count from the World Outlaw late models and plus the Lucas Oil, so it could be an interesting race weekend. As we get to the big blocks, their points tile will be on the line. 6 points difference between Matt Shepard and Matt Williamson. And then the other points race, which I really can give you an opinion on, is the sprint cars. 8 points between Brad Sweet and Johnny Schatz. And here's what I'm saying on Sweet. His con is has not won a title before. Would he take it just like another race weekend? And the pro, he's been running well, but I don't really want to say who I'm going to say an opinion on who's winning the title on Schatz recently. He's been the man at Charlotte, but he's been there, done that before. But the con I see is the motor, the Ford motor. I'm not so convinced yet. And anything can happen down there. So you qualify bad and you have to play catch up. That's where Thursday night will be the 2 rounds of qualifying could play a big part, where Brad Sweet has the Rob competitive motor, that it's a strong motor, and the Ford, yes, it's strong, but there's still some question marks about it. And who are some of the other players going to be down there? And the big block, it's just Shepard's been there, done it before. Williamson is trying to chase him, but Matt Williamson has had a strong year. And then on the West Coast, is the Oval Nationals again this year. That will be on Flow Racing TV. The Oval Nationals, where the best of the USAC and then the best of CRA will get together and run for the Oval Nationals. The World Finals can be seen on Dirt and Dirt Vision. And that's it for this week's head. Oh, and a new headline also on this week, as some silly season news has been happening, as it's confirmed that the '83 Roth racing car with Darren Pittman will be back on the Outlaw Tour next year. Of course, all the late breaking news developments during the off season we'll try to bring here on the show, but also anytime news does happen, it will be a big topic on the Twitter and Facebook page. Speaking of the Twitter and Facebook page, it was announced this week our holiday schedule, and I'll announce the big show. If you follow the Chick Magnet, Josh Hagwood, that show he released when it is going to be the show for the week of the Thanksgiving. That's been announced. December schedule will be the December 17th. Will not be a show. I'll be traveling during that week and won't have enough time to get a show in. But then 1 or 2 days after Christmas will be the last show of 2019, and the first show of the year of 2020 will be the week of January 6th. But the Chick Magnet Motorsports will be Thanksgiving week. Waiting to hear back on a guest for next. In a couple of weeks, we'll have a guest, and I'll have the Christmas guide put together and talked about next week for sure on the show. And then when there's no show, I'll still be updating the Facebook and Twitter pages. If you go searching on YouTube and type in the keyword "The Dirt Racing Podcast," you'll be able to find there are some episodes up on my personal YouTube page. I'm going to add more shows from time to time, and all the Songer Says video parts is on there as well so far. Welcome to the Dirt Racing Podcast. Special guest from the Racing Boys this week, Scott Traylor. How you doing, Scott?
Well, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Last week in the ASCS just wrapped up their season.
Yeah, we just wrapped it up at Texas Motor Speedway. It was a big weekend for Sam Hickerty. He picked up his fourth national championship by 86 points. Really no doubt about it after opening night when Sam went second to Terry McCall and that locked up the championship for him. Now, he didn't have the night that he was hoping for the second night. Still got a top 10 finish, but it wasn't in the very finish that he was hoping for to go out as the champion this year. But Sam has proven once again that Miles Hill and his team are the best 360 sprint car team in the country.
Yeah, and some of the highlights was featured Sunday on the NASCAR.
Well, I didn't get to see a lot of that, to be honest with you. It was a travel day for us. We were coming home, and we left Texas Motor Speedway, Fort Worth, Texas, I should say, Sunday morning. We watched a little bit of the Chiefs game. We opened Kansas City Chiefs game in Kansas City, and so we watched some of that, and then we headed home. So I didn't get to see all of the television broadcasts. But that's good that they talked about it. You know, it's the great thing about racing at Texas Motor Speedway. The staff and everybody there do such a great job cross-promoting the couple with Luxor ASCS National Sprint Car Tour. It's such a great facility, the dirt track. It has all the amenities, all the things that anything would ever want. It's just a remarkable facility. We're very blessed with the national tour to wrap up our season there.
Yeah, do you have an opinion on this week's Outlaw finale?
Well, no, it sounds like it's been a hell of a year for the points race in the World of Outlaws this year, too. I'm not really up to speed right now on the points. I know a couple of weeks ago it was less than, I think, 10 points separated the two. But, yeah, I think it's going to be good. You know, our friends down at Dirt Vision do a great job with that broadcast. And we'll be tuning in like everybody else around the country to see the season finale with the World of Outlaws.
Yeah, and then did you get to go to the Jason Johnson event at the Lake of the Ozarks Speedway at all?
Unfortunately, I didn't, Marshall, because we were racing out of Devillsville Speedway in Mesquite, Texas that weekend. We would have loved to went there. It would have been great to see that. But unfortunately, we were able to make it.
Can you talk a little bit about the Johnson team? Because you've seen the rise of it before everybody else.
Well, yeah, very blessed. Just had a chance to travel up and down the road with Jason Johnson and Bobby. I remember when Jax was born, how big a deal that was and how much that changed Jason. But you're right, you know, four-time champion with the ASCS National Sprint Car Tour. You know, there's only a couple great ones that ever run with the National Tour. Jay Wright's the greatest of all time. He's the all-time winningest driver with 127 wins. Jason Johnson, I think he's got 77 wins. He's obviously got to be the second best. And then there's a gaggle of other drivers that have earned their stripes, and Sam's one of them. I think Sam hasn't made up his mind. I don't think Miles Hill has made up his mind if they're going to come back and attempt to go for number 5 in a row. But I hope they do. If you're up there in that category with Gary Wright, Jason Johnson,
one that really cut his teeth in it on the local with the ASCS and now on the national stage is running well is Aaron Reitzel.
Yeah, Aaron Reitzel, 2015 champion with the ASCS National Sprint Car Tour, two-time All-Star champion. And, I've said it many times that I think the ASCS National Tour is a great running grounds for drivers that want to go on and be professional sprint car drivers at the highest level. And that would be the World of Outlaws. There's no disrespect to ASCS, but I've always said it that I think the ASCS National Sprint Car Tour is the Xfinity Series of sprint car racing. All you got to do is go back and look. Jason Johnson, Shane Stewart, two-time champion, Jason Johnson, Aaron Reitzel, Paul. There's so many different people that have came through the ranks of ASCS and learned how to become that professional racer they want to be when they're out traveling up and down the road. It's not easy to do. And when people come out with the national tour, it teaches them a couple things. It teaches them how to run up and down the road, manage their money, take care of their equipment, keep people hired for mechanics and crew chiefs as you beat up and down the road. So it teaches you a lot of different things when you run with the national tour, and it prepares you if you have aspirations of being a World of Outlaw driver. So, it's a great learning ground for people. We've seen a lot of them cut their teeth with ASCS. And probably your next biggest event on the Racing Boys is Chili Bowl and the Shootout. Yeah, the Tulsa Shootout and the Chili Bowl is coming up. It's going to be our 15th year, Marshall. It's hard to believe that we've been broadcasting the Chili Bowl 15 years, and we're looking forward to our 15th anniversary doing so. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to start on Monday again this year, so add another day, and we're looking forward to it. I'm sure we're going to have somewhere around 350 cars trying to make that 24-car field. So, that's a lot of fun. And then the one that's really the hardest for us when it comes work-wise is the Tulsa Shootout. The Tulsa Shootout, we go on at 9 in the morning. We don't go off till about 11 o'clock that night. So for the cameramen and all the people, the producers, the graphics people, the on-air talent, everybody to the man and woman that helps us with that broadcast, very taxing on the crew during the Tulsa Shootout. Yeah. And then the War Series, you guys do a little bit with them. Yeah. We do the Lucas Oil Power Wingless Auto Racing Series races. We did just about every one of their races live this year. I think that's the plan for us to do it again next year. Alan Staley does a great job for us with those broadcasts. He's been with us now for a few years. He started out doing the broadcast for us with the Racing Boys ASCS Warrior Region. And again, he did that this year. But I think he's going to move on and just stick with the non-wing stuff next year. And we're looking forward to having him back and doing those broadcasts. It's been a huge asset there. So, we'll win this auto racing series, a really thriving non-wing sprint car series. I think we had somewhere around 50, 60 cars down at the Lucas Oil Speedway with the Jesse Hockett Gaming McMillan Memorial. And that thing just keeps going by leaps and bounds. Yeah, and then talk about Iowa added a new track this year last year on the schedule. You got to go to 34 Raceway. Yeah, we went up to West Burlington. Is that what you're talking about? West Burlington, right? Yeah. We went up there and had a good time at the National Tour. It was a heck of a grind for us that weekend, if you remember right. When we got done racing at West Burlington, we had to travel overnight to Lake Ozark Speedway where we had a 2-day show. So 5 or 6 hours, a long night for everybody, but we enjoyed our time up there at West Burlington. Yeah, and the disappointment was the non-wing the next night got rained out. Yeah, and what's crazy about that whole scenario is that we did the live video with the National Tour up there the night before, and we were scheduled to do the live audio the next night when they got rained out. So we were a little bummed out here at Race Boys that we were able to get that one in. Yeah, and then of course during the Nationals, the traditional Austin stop. Yeah, well, unfortunately for us, Terry, and he's the only promoter on the National Tour that doesn't allow us to do a standard ASCS National Tour race. He's afraid that people will stay in the and not come to the races. I've tried to convince him otherwise. I don't think that it would be a mass defection like he thinks it would be, but that's his choice. Yeah. So we don't get to go up there and do that broadcast, and we don't get to do the ASCS 360 Nationals as well. So those are the only two events of the year that we don't get to broadcast.
Yeah, but you're there doing stuff anyways.
Yeah, we go there, we shoot video, we put packages together, all that kind of stuff. But it's, we feel bad that for the pilots week in and week out, which is our all access pass, boys and boys, we'll get watch that race. But maybe someday we'll be able to talk Terry into it.
Yeah, and Terry's slowly letting people film it anyways.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that's his choice, but I have a hard time convincing him that people are not going to stay in the campground. Real race fans, real sprint car fans will be correct. Because, sprint car fans are a different breed of cat than anybody else, right? Real sprint car fans are not going to stay in the campgrounds of the Knoxville when there's a big race like that going on over at Oski. There's maybe one or two, but for the most part, passionate sprint car fans are going to leave those campgrounds, go to Oski and watch that race.
I don't think so either. And that's about the best 10 days of the year, I think.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. That's my favorite time of the year. It comes right off the heels of us when we just wrap up our trip out to the Pacific Northwest. We'll go out there and we'll race at Skagit for Dirt Cup for those 3 days. Then the next week we'll go up to Grays Harbor to Elmer, Washington for the Fred Brownfield Classic. We do 2 nights there, and then we start easing our way back to the Midwest. And we go to places like Black Hills, Aberdeen, Billings, Montana, Belgrade, Montana, places like that. So, and then we wrap it up by going to Knoxville for 11 days. So, yeah, it's pretty much a grind that time of year.
Yeah, and then speaking of the Montana race, are they getting a new grizzly bear for next year? I heard that news.
Yeah, Adam is retiring. He's 18 years old. He looks a little tired this year. In fact, to be honest with you, the last 2 years, he looks like he's turned into an old man. So I don't know what they're going to do. I know in the press release when they announced that he was retiring, that they were looking into trying to come up with another bear, but everybody's pretty comfortable with that. And I don't know if everybody's going to be quite as comfortable with the new bear.
Yeah. And then one of the guys we can talk about is Josh Hagwood, and missing him on the tour big time. Any good stories? Josh Hagwood, any good stories about him?
Josh, he's a great kid, man. We all love him, and he means so much to everybody on the ASCS National Sprint Car Tour. He's got all these teams he's affiliated with, and he's very passionate about that. He's been raised right by his parents. His parents are awesome, and they do whatever it takes to make Josh be a part of everything that goes on in sprint car racing. And it was a great bit that we saw that they did on him here a while back.
Yeah.
I think Josh is a cool little dude, man. I think the heck out of him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's going to be on in the Thanksgiving week.
Oh, wow, that'd be a good interview.
He's been saying he's been looking for sure when he did the Hall of Fame one.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. And then basically no team changes for the Racing Boys.
No real changes for us this year. We're just blessed that Emmett Hahn and Fuzzy Hahn and all the Hahn family believe in Racing Boys and continue to stick with us. We're planning on going back out there next year, be our 12th year broadcasting the ASCS National Tour. I've been out there 12 years with them. So looking forward to getting back out there. Always looking forward to seeing some of the drivers. It doesn't sound like we're going to lose a lot this year. It sounds like we're going to keep a lot of our drivers from last year. I'm not sure about Sam yet. We're hopeful he'll come back and go for number 5. I know that he's planning on having a meeting with Miles Hill. We just did an interview with him tonight on our show, The Passing Point, and he said that he was going to have a meeting with Miles Hill at the PRI show, and that they're planning on getting it all work out, figure out what they're going to do next year. So we hope that he comes back, and it sounds like everybody else is planning on coming back with us next year. So we're looking forward to that. It should be exciting time in 2020. We had a great point race, bringing guys like Roger Crockett and Scott Batuski and John Carney II. And you had those people, and Tucker Dowdy did a good job towards the end of the year, really coming on strong. Jordan Mallett, two-time USCS champion. He came and ran with us this year. Showed huge improvement from the start of the year to what he had right here at the end of the year. So pretty excited about next year. We got a great group of young talent, and looking forward to seeing how they can make progress in their careers. They try to run with the national tour next year.
I have a couple more questions. The first one on working together the two Oklahoma series. I can't think of what it is in the Sooner region.
The ASCS Sooner region?
And the other one, I can't think of it.
I'm not sure which series that you're talking about.
The oil one?
OCRS.
Yeah, that they're going to try to work together more.
Yeah, oil capital races. Yeah, that would be great. We've been broadcasting a few of the OCRS races, and I know there's been talk about us broadcasting the races next year. We'd love to be able to pull that off if we could. But Zach Chappell doing a good job down there. He's two-time champion with the OCRS. Harley White has won that championship before, so it's a really good place to learn how to prepare yourself to move on to maybe ASCS. So, yeah, Zach Chappell, the youngest driver to ever win a national tour championship with us. He did that at the young age of 19 years old, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and then any good Gary Wright stories?
Well, Gary Wright stories. Gary Wright, I promoted a race. I did one race a year, and one particular year I was promoting a race at Osborne, Missouri. Most people call it Cameron, US 36. And Gary took a huge rock to the face, busted his helmet wide open, and really it rang his bell. He said he didn't even know where he was at for about a lap and a half. But he continued to run. He slowed down a little bit, but that was a scary deal for Gary. Busted his helmet up. We missed Gary Wright. In fact, we just got our hands on some miniature Gary Wright diecast, little bitty cars, from the 07 season, and we've been selling them. They have been very popular on the Racing Boys t-shirt trailer. But Gary Wright, I'll just say it, one of my all-time favorite people I've met traveling up and down the road with the national tour. I can't tell you how much I think of that guy.
And then the story you guys have been following for the longest time, the I-70, what's the update on that?
Well, I-70 Speedway, as you know, closed in 2007. It was a pavement track. That track opened in 1969 as a pavement track. It was a pavement track until 2000 when Greg Wells from World Wheels bought the racetrack from the Roberts family. He had that thing open from He had that open from that would have been 1980 to 1988. The Roberts family ended up getting the racetrack back from Greg. They took the dirt off of it. In fact, I just put up a couple videos from 89 and 90 up on the I-70 Speedway page. And it was a pavement track from 1988 until it closed in 2007 when the new ownership that bought it in 2000 kind of went it in the ground and it just lost all its luster. And it was just sitting, and luckily enough for us, a gentleman by the name of Chris Payne, who owns Park Topeka, a motorsports park, it's called there, I should say, purchased I-70 and the property from Brad McDonald, and they've cleaned off all the property. They've already cut in the racetrack in the middle of where the old pavement track used to be. And it looks like they're going to get that thing open in 2020. They've had a few issues with the county of Lafayette County. They had to go back in there and make an amendment on some of the CUP, conditional use permit stuff, and they did that. And it looks like they'll be up and running sometime next year, hopefully.
Okay, and We appreciate your time tonight, and hopefully see you next year
anytime,
sometime.
So you just be sure to give us a call.
Yeah.
We'd love to do it.
Thanks. Anyways, type in your Google machine the Racing Boys, and I'll have more information on the upcoming pay-per-views for Chili Bowl and the shootout. We appreciate Scott's time. Until next week, go keep supporting your local dirt tracks, or if you can't, your local dirt tracks closed for the year, keep watching them online. Thanks for listening to another edition of the Racing Podcast.